Welcome back, everybody. Today on the podcast, we have the first underwater welder on our podcast. Gavin, what is happening, brother?
What's up, man? How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm pretty well.
All right. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. You married? Do you have kids? How old are you?
All right, so I'm not married. I do have a girlfriend though. I'm
Mhm.
22 years old. Originally I'm from Maryland. When I first started diving, I started in Florida. That's where my commercial dive school was at, and I lived there for about 2.5 years, and then I moved to here to North Carolina where I'm at now. And
Nice.
yeah, so I've just been traveling around ever since I started, and I love it, man.
So, do you, for traveling, like, where do you go?
So with
Everywhere?
this new company that I started, it's based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we do like all the surrounding areas. We work on a whole bunch of the dams and whatnot, and we go from anywhere to 6 to 7 hours away, from even an hour away. So it's all over. Yeah, it's a lot of time on the road as well. So a
Oh,
lot of time in a hotel room.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. How's your girlfriend like that?
She's okay with it. I actually bought a camper when I started diving, and I travel around in that. And she actually moved in with me, so
That's awesome, dude.
she's pretty on board with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the only certain many amount of women will do that. Will
Yeah.
pick up and just jump in a camper and go
Oh
with
yeah.
you.
Oh
So
yeah. I know.
that's awesome, dude.
Very grateful.
But you just answered one of my questions about the dams. I seen that you on your videos you're doing a lot of welding on these dams.
Yeah. So I've actually only had to weld underwater like 3 times before. It's actually not a lot of welding, if you believe it or not. So everybody knows it as underwater welding, and it's actually a lot of just underwater construction is what I would put it. So yeah, the welding you saw, it wasn't even any structural welds or anything. It was just, so we installed a giant a frame, a gate guide for it was like a sluice gate, so it could stop the flow of water. And we had these anchor bolts extending out past the guide, and we just had to cut those flush to the frame and then weld it, and then grind it flat and smooth, so that way the gate could come down. But yeah, and other than that, just welding anodes and stuff like that on a seawall. Really not too much welding.
See, so we've had an instructor on here, RJ Outlaw, and he did explain that, most of the time when people say underwater welding, there's not a lot of welding involved in underwater welding. Like you just said, it's a lot of construction putting stuff together, which
Yeah.
still very dangerous to be
Oh yeah.
diving in there doing all that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of loads, and the biggest thing with the diving on the dams is differential pressure. So I don't know if you know anything about that, but like, let's say I have these two water bottles right here, and like one's fuller than the other, but they're connected on the bottom to a pipe, and they're gonna try to equalize to the same pressure. So they're gonna be the same, like the same depth deep. And on a dam, there's a high side and there's a low side. So when we're working on these gates, there's like little pinholes and like little breaks and stuff in the dam, and with that creates differential pressure, and that's actually the biggest killer of divers is differential pressure. And yeah, that's probably the scarier end of it. Really, not so much of the heavy stuff that you're underneath and whatnot.
So, all right, so tell me more about that pressure. How
Well,
can that how can you be affected by that being under the water? What's it
so
like?
personally, I've only had to stick rags and stuff in it, like not anything serious. Well, it would suck my whole body into. Like I've gone down. There's been like a leak on like a gate underwater, and I'll go down with a rag, and I'll try to find that leak, and then we'll just stuff it with a bunch of rags, just so they can work on the wiki gates if they need to. They can work on the inside of the dam if they need to, and they can't do that if there's little pinholes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
allowing water to get through. So but yeah, the dangers of it is if there's not locked, like, so we do a thing called lockout tagout, is
Yep.
which we make sure all of our valves and everything's closed off and make sure nobody can open it. And sometimes, or not sometimes, but I mean, it can happen. It has happened. Some things can be missed and something can, not be locked out. And what that can do, I mean, you can be sucked into it. It could suck your whole body into it, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's super scary.
I'd say that's probably the most dangerous thing about the diving. If you're safe and smart and just competent, you're pretty much going to be safe at all times.
So, all right, let's jump into this because me and my wife were just talking about this too. Is that most people that are blue collar working these trades that are very dangerous, like you just said, how dangerous it can be. Your loved one, as your girlfriend, does she understand like exactly what you do for work and what the dangers are?
I think so. I try to explain it to her, but I don't think she completely grasps 100%. But yeah, I think she understands that it's dangerous, and she
Yeah.
knows. But she knows I love it and that I'm going to be safe and just be smart. So it's the best thing
That's
I
right.
can do.
How long you been doing it?
Almost 3 years now.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And this is something that you found that you want to do this as long as you can.
Yeah, I'd like to start my own business eventually, so I can be the boss, you know.
Yeah,
But
dude. That's the way to do it.
yeah, I love it. I was just working just like regular jobs and whatnot before, and like working under how doing crawl space remediation is actually what I did right before diving, and I was just so tired of it. I couldn't stand it anymore, and not making any money. Didn't feel any satisfaction at the end of the day. And one of my buddies just he ended up he went to dive school, and I talked to him about it. I was like, man, I got to do something. I was like, what are you doing? Like, how is it? How's diving? And he's like, it's cool, man. Do it. And I pulled the trigger that night to go to dive school.
Hell yeah. So how old are you?
I'm 22.
All right, so you're 22. All right, so that's what a lot of the older guys have had on the podcast. We always get in a subject that happens every time is how the younger generation, yourself, to not chase the money, to find something that you enjoy, a trade that you take passion and pride in, because then you're gonna love your job. Even I mean, if it makes good money, it makes good money. But you're gonna wake up and want to go to work. So you found that job, and that's awesome to see that you're not just trying to chase money. You found something you take pride in. It's
Yeah,
good.
I really do love it, man. And like I said, I'd like to have my own business one day because I wanna. I just love it, all of it. It's so cool, like the big boats and stuff that we dive off of. Or it's just, I love it, man. And the dams, it's really eye opening, and it's really cool because you don't think about that kind of stuff unless
No.
you know you're doing it. And like those power plants, I mean, that supplies power to hundreds of thousands of people, and it's just cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is cool because you think about it. If you weren't doing that and something breaks, who's gonna fix it, right? You
Yeah.
need people like you out there crushing it to keep the lights on for somebody at home. That's good,
Oh yeah.
man.
Oh
So
yeah.
you want to start your own business. Now, would you relocate for your business or would you stay in
Um,
North Carolina?
I probably would relocate, probably somewhere a little more south, because that's where there's a lot more waterways. Where I'm at right now in North Carolina, I'm like an hour west of Charlotte, which is Kings Mountain, and it's just a bunch of like smaller lakes, and that's really not what I'm used to.
You gotta come back down to Florida.
Yeah, I miss it, man. It's beautiful. What part are you in?
This is South Florida.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was in Fort Myers for a little bit.
That's the
I
West
actually
Coast.
moved there right when that hurricane happened. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, when it hit Fort Myers really bad.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah, it
almost two
smashed
or three
half
years
the coast.
ago. Yeah, it was.
We're on the east, and yeah, that hurricane missed us.
Well, that's
The
good.
last one we had, though, was crazy.
Oh, the one
It
when all the stuff happened in West North Carolina too, right? The same time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it put up, like, 7 or 8 tornadoes around us, which is
Wow. Did you guys get a lot of flooding
unlike
too?
No, we didn't get crazy flooding here.
Just a lot of
Not like
winds.
yeah, it was a lot of tornado I mean, the tornadoes, they ripped apart a lot of houses around here. It was
Insane.
bad.
I've never even
Yeah.
seen a tornado before. Hope I don't.
Yeah, I I think the craziest thing is that we seen a video of a guy so, here in Florida, we have our impact windows because of the hurricanes, and I think they can hold up to, like it's like 180, 190-mile winds now. Don't hold me to that, anybody watching, okay? But there was a guy who was filming the tornado as it was coming towards his house, and I mean, it was peppering his windows with all kinds of shit, and it was bouncing off, and then it got closer and closer, and it just shattered the windows. And he,
Yeah.
he ran away, but
You got it on
pretty
video?
ballsy. Yeah, he pretty ballsy to be standing in front of that window.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
when I was in Fort Myers during all that, it was like I moved there maybe a week after that hurricane happened, and it was crazy. There was 100-foot boats just sitting in the middle of the road. I mean, there was so much destruction. There was giant shrimp boats sitting in the road. It was crazy. So much trash everywhere. And
They had an interview of a guy over in Fort Myers when that hurricane hit. He was living in his houseboat, and they asked him like, "Hey, where are you gonna go?" He's like, "I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna stay in my boat." And they were like, "Through the hurricane?" He's like, "Yeah."
I
So
think I
after
saw
the
that the
hurricane,
lieutenant guy.
and after it was done, they were like, "Yo, how was it?" And he was like, "It wasn't that bad, but my boat sat on top of this boat." And they're like, "You were in it?" He's like, "Oh fuck yeah,
That's crazy. I think I
bro,
saw that. His name's like Lieutenant Dan or something.
you
That's
crazy
hilarious.
dude. What is
That's
wrong?"
hilarious. Goodness. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to be on my little boat in a hurricane.
No,
No.
I see. Yeah, I see you crushing in that little John boat you got, that blue one, right?
Yeah, yeah, I actually painted it myself. It used to be green.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I
Now,
love
do you
taking
is
that
that
thing
what
out.
you use? You use that a lot to go out and do that?
For what, diving?
Yeah,
No, we have boats that we have at the company, so we use those. They're a lot more. They're bigger and set up for it.
a little
That's
more
just a
stable, huh?
yeah. Just that's just my little fishing boat that I go around on. 16 foot with a little 30 horsepower on the back, but she'll run about 35, 40 mile an hour.
That's all you need, man. You're out
Oh yeah,
fishing, you ain't out racing.
oh yeah. She's fun though.
So, I did wanna ask you, a couple of your videos, you had your bibs on, your overalls.
Yeah.
Are those waterproof, or are they
Uh,
just regular, like, bibs?
they're just regular. Yeah, so I have a
Oh,
wetsuit
okay.
on underneath that, and then to protect my wetsuit, because they get pretty expensive, and with the
Yeah.
stuff that we do, they just get torn up. And so if you just wear clothes over top of it, just regular jeans or a regular t-shirt, it'll protect it and make it last a lot longer. So you'll see a lot of the guys doing that.
Oh, alright. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, they're just
So,
like the regular denim material.
yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if it was, just normal bibs or whether there's a certain kinda waterproof one, because I was like,
No,
"Man, those would get pretty heavy down there."
no, not really. Actually, it's pretty.
No?
When you're underwater with all that stuff on, it's pretty light. Like the gear is, you don't feel really any of it, except maybe if you're looking up for a long time. Like if you're like on bottom and you have to like look up. I don't know. It can get pretty like you'll feel it in your neck, but it's not too
Yeah,
bad. It's pretty cool. It's like walking with no gravity underwater. It's like being on the moon.
it's pretty dope.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure in Texas they have at the International Space Station they train the astronauts like in a pool as
Yeah,
divers.
I think you're right on that one. I think I've
Yeah,
seen
because
that too.
it's similar with the gravity and whatnot.
How long do you usually stay down under for?
It depends on the depth. So if it's like 60 feet, you have like an hour and a half maybe, and if it's like 10 feet, we call them all fucking day tables because you can stay down there all day long. You don't have to come up at all. So the longest I've been in the water is like 8.5 hours, and that was the
Jeez.
longest. That was a long day. No drinking water, no food. Like it was a long day.
Yeah, dude, damn. 8
That's
hours
not all the
underwater?
time. It's not all the time that it's like that. So most of the jobs, like if we go in like a job that's pretty deep, we'll have a bunch of guys and we'll swap out every, hour or something like that. However long he has underwater, we'll swap out. And then if we have time at the end of the day, we'll do a repet dive. And that's actually a shorter dive than your initial bottom time that you had before because of the residual nitrogen that you build up.
Okay. How's the what's the deepest you've gone?
The deepest I've been is 180 feet.
Damn.
Yeah, that was in school though. I haven't had any working dives that deep.
So did you have to when you came out of that, did you have to get in that, like, the pressurized tank or
No,
anything like that?
we did in water decompression for those.
Okay.
But there's a thing that I have done. I have been in the can for the decompression chamber. Is a Certi O2 is where you don't do any in-water decompression, where you don't do any stops as you're coming up. You just come straight up out of the water, you strip down to your underwear, and you jump right in the chamber. And they blow you right back to, so let's say you go to like 60 feet and you stay down there for your whole bottom time. You come up, you go straight in the chamber, and they blow you back down to the pressure of 60 feet. And then they slowly rise you back up. And what that does is allows another diver to go back in the water. And it just makes things a lot faster for production wise.
How long do you have to sit in that chamber?
I'm pretty sure however long your deco is. So just that, your deco, your decompression.
All right,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I haven't been in the chamber too much. I do a lot of inland work. So
Yeah. Do you want to do more like
offshore,
bigger? Yeah.
I'd like to go offshore just to
Yeah.
kind of see what it's all about. But I really like the inland work because it's a lot more tedious and just yeah, it's a lot more tedious work in my opinion. And I get to come home every night too. Well, maybe not home, but at least to a hotel room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's
You're
guys,
not stuck on a boat.
yeah, there's guys that work offshore. I have a few buddies, and they're out there for a few months at a time and not coming
Yeah.
back.
I've had a couple guests on tugboats and towboats, and they're on for weeks at a time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
those boats, I mean, they have the full kitchen, bathrooms, beds,
oh
everything.
yeah, they've
So
got everything, and you can't beat the view of the sea either.
no,
That's beautiful.
no,
Yeah, I've
take
only
your pole out there, you're good to go.
yeah I did do a dive offshore though on a for a tugboat prop. That was actually pretty cool. A tugboat. It was like 5 miles offshore in St. Augustine, Florida, and
Okay.
I don't you've probably heard of them, Mobro Marine. It's like a tugboat company, but they lost one of their propellers on their on the tugboat, and the only thing they had was the coordinates to go find it. So they actually called the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department out there, and they had a bunch of sonar equipment, and one of their divers actually found it, and they put a buoy on it, and then a few weeks go by, and they lost it. The buoy was gone. So all they had was the coordinates again. So they're back where they started, and that's when they called us out there. And so the first, and it was really cool. The owner took us. So the tugboat and barge and the crane that was on it, it took them like a few days to get out there. So um, th- they did that, and then the owner came up at like 7 in the morning and picked us up on his giant center console fishing boat and took us offshore to the crane and the barge and the tugboat and everything.
Hell
And
yeah.
yeah, the first guy went down. He couldn't find it, and then it was my turn to go down, and I was like, man, I just had this feeling in me. I was like, I'm gonna find this thing. I've got to.
Hoping, you're
Like,
like, I'm
I
gonna be
just
that guy.
yeah, and I went down, and I started doing a search pattern of like a circle. So I take my umbilical, and I took like 30 feet of it, and I wrapped it around the buoy that we had set for the coordinates. And yeah, I backed off 30 feet, and then I just did a circle, a full sweep, and then I took like a foot back, so
Mhm.
29 feet, and then I did another circle, and like 28 feet, and did another circle, and then I bumped my head right into it. It was
Oh
awesome.
shit.
Yeah, yeah. And then the crane, they lowered down the rigging to me in the water. I rigged it up underwater, and they pulled it out.
Hell
It
yeah,
was
dude.
really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
70 feet deep, or it was like 60 or 70.
Now, what's the scariest thing you've seen in the water? Have you had any
Uh,
experiences like that?
the scariest thing I've seen in the water, to be honest, the thing that's like freaked me out the most is like a manatee, because it's so
Oh,
huge, and like if you can't see anything, and something that big just bumps
yeah.
into you, you're like, what was that? And
Yeah.
yeah, but I really haven't seen anything scary because most of the time that I'm working, I have zero visibility. I can't see anything because the water's so dirty.
God, that's terrifying though.
It's honestly, I'd rather
Especially
not
like
see it.
down here, bro. Down here in Florida, that's terrifying because you don't know what's sitting behind you and not
Yeah,
them
I know.
gators, big old
Yeah,
gators, man.
but the way I look at it is if I can't see it, it's out of sight, out of mind for me. I'd rather not see it and
I
just
was gonna say, bro, don't you dare say if I can't see it, it can't see me.
no, no, no. It probably could see me, but
It definitely sees you.
that's just like my mindset underwater is like if I have bumped into something, I'm like, what is that? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna worry about it. I mean,
Going
that's
back to
really
work.
what you got to do is just be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
that's really what it's all about.
I don't know if I could do that, dude. That's terrifying to think about, like, you're down I mean, I guess like I don't know how many gators you got around you. I don't how does North Carolina have gators up there?
No, we don't have any gators here. In Florida, I've seen a few, but they won't mess with you. They're actually scared. I mean, like all the noise that we make underwater, they're scared of us. Like I've had gators come by, but they scurry away.
I don't know. I know a couple spots down here around me that you can't count as far as you can see.
Yeah,
That's how many gators are in some of the canals. Like I lost count one time. I counted up to 100,
that is
and
insane.
I couldn't keep counting because I couldn't see as many anymore.
That's crazy. Yeah, most of the time
Terrified.
though, they get scared unless like they got like a baby or something and you
Yeah.
might be near it or something. That's when they'll really get aggressive. But I really haven't had any encounters with alligators that are aggressive. I've heard crocodiles though. Like if you see a crocodile, you better get away
Yeah,
because
Crocs ain't
they'll
gonna
eat you.
yeah, they're not fucking around.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see one of those.
Problem is down here in Florida, a lot of the gators that are not afraid is because the people feed them.
Oh yeah,
They're used to humans, so they're like, "Oh, alright, I can get food from him." Well, they ain't scared of you, and they'll come right up.
yeah.
As
I
soon as
luckily
you
I haven't had
good.
any gators come face to face with me, so thankful on that one.
Definitely thankful on that one. Yeah, that and we have the pythons down here.
Oh yeah, I've seen that in like the
Big
Everglades, right?
ones too, dude. Yeah.
Like 20-foot ones, right?
Yeah, they got some fucking big ones.
That's insane. I've seen a few water moccasins, but
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, eels too. I've seen some eels actually,
that's
but
kinda cool.
the eels are kind of freaky looking though. It's not like any other fish I've like ever caught before.
Yeah, they're
They're really
goofy as
and
hell.
they like go by you like a snake in the water. It's real weird.
I don't like snakes. No, I would definitely freak out on that one.
I'm not the
Mm-mm.
biggest fan of snakes, but
Nope.
I'm not gonna. I gotta keep calm. They'll make fun of me if I don't.
No, you make fun of me all day. I'd come out that water screaming. Gator, I don't care. I'll jump on a gator, but a snake, I hate them, dude. I'm out of there. I'm
My
gone.
Yeah,
Sorry.
my old boss. Every time I'd be underwater and like I'd be like, so if like anytime I'd ever bump into something and be like, what was that feeling? I'd always be like, woo, and he knew that my boss did, and he would always mess with me every time he heard me go woo. Like he's like, what's that? You scared down there?
Yeah, you can't see shit. Can't see shit out of this mask.
That's funny.
So, I mean, I guess since you don't care about being under the water and pitch black and everything, it's probably why you have full send on your leg, right?
How did you know that? That's crazy.
Caught you
I
off
did.
guard, didn't I, man?
I did. I don't know how you knew that. That's pretty funny.
I watch your videos.
Oh, you know what? I do know. It's in that video. You can see it.
I did my research.
Oh yeah, I did. I got that like when I was like 18 years old, just as
Full send. I was like, "Fuck yeah, man, I love it." And then
yeah, I got a few
all
on
the
my legs.
backflips off them trees, I was like, "Yo, he is out of his mind, bro."
That was when I was actually in dive school. I was like every day after school I'd go and it was like Wiki Watchy, Florida. Like
Yes. I
it
went
was
there.
like right
OC.
right in that area. Hudson, Florida. That's where it was. Spring Hill, all that.
I don't know where that
Oh,
is, but
it's
Witch
10
Watch,
minutes
you've been
above
there.
Wiki Watchy, but yeah, there's these all kinds of springs and like limestone mines and stuff just filled with water. It was cool. We'd always go swimming there and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what well, limestone mines, that's what I did.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Okay, you did that in Florida?
Yep.
That's pretty
And
cool.
then zap.
So how did that happen? What electrocuted you, if you don't mind me asking?
A big piece of machinery I was working on, it ran off of 4160. How it happened, I don't know. I woke up out of a coma in the hospital,
Wow, man.
but it hit me right here. If you watch close, you ready?
Whoa. That's that's wild.
It's a hole. There's a hole right here in my skull. This is all skull, but right there, that's a hole. So it entered here and it came out the back of my neck.
That's crazy, man. I I couldn't even imagine. That's you're
Gotta be
great.
safe out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I for sure. Safety is the biggest thing, and complacency kills. That's for sure.
That's right.
But
Always be aware of what's happening around you. Always be on your toes. Don't ever
yeah,
get
got to
comfortable.
keep your head on a swivel.
That's right. See, you already got it in your head. That's good. That is a good thing to have that
Oh yeah,
planted in there.
yeah. When I was in Florida doing all that stuff in the limestone mines, you might have seen the video. I tried to do a triple backflip out of the tree, and ended up landing right on my back, and
Oh
I
yes,
fractured.
dude. I watched that
Yeah,
when I was like, "Oh, that fucking hurt."
yeah, I landed right on my T3 or I landed on my back and fractured the T3 vertebrae in my back.
Jesus.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I didn't go to the hospital or anything for like the next few days because I didn't think it was that bad. And then it started hurting. And I was also right about to finish dive school. So we were doing all our deep dives then. And I'm telling you, I don't know what it was, but I think something about that pressure of being underwater helped my back
Oh,
tremendously
really?
because, dude, it healed up within weeks, like 3 weeks. My back was
Good
fine
deal.
again. Yeah. And I think it was just because of just going underwater at those depths.
Yeah, you think about it. If you're underwater, there's a lot of pressure off your body, as in like your vertebrae, because you're not standing and your weight of yourself is pushing on it. You're
Yeah,
kind of
so
free floating.
those the barometric or the hyperbaric chambers that you were talking about earlier, people
Yeah,
actually use those for medicine, hyperbaric medicine. So, like
yeah.
Johns Hopkins and Duke, the hospital up in North Carolina, they have all kinds of giant ones. Like I mean, ones as big as your house. Like it's insane.
That
And
is crazy.
yeah, they just have a whole bunch of people sitting in them, like older people and sick people, and it helps them.
Yeah, they wanted me. Well, they didn't want me to, but they did tell me I had an option to go into one of those chambers. I think it was to help my skin heal, something like that. I forget what it was, but I didn't do
Yeah,
it.
it will. It really will. It can do crazy wonders.
Yeah, that's it's nuts.
Yeah, I would look into it, man. I would definitely try it if I were you.
No, it's all healed now. It's good.
Well, I'm saying it has so many benefits other than that, though.
Maybe one day. I don't
Yeah,
know. I've never been in one. It would be. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. I'd definitely
yeah,
try
it's
it out. See
interesting.
what it's about.
So, have you ever been diving before?
No.
So, every like 10 feet, you got to like clear your ears because of the pressure. So you have to do the same thing inside the chamber. So it would be,
Wow.
yeah, if you wanted a little simulation of diving, you could go into the chamber.
Yeah, I've never done diving.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've always wanted to, but then I ain't about being underwater and then something grabbing a hold of me. So I don't need to that bad.
I don't think anything's
A
ever gonna.
job, maybe it would be a hobby, but
Yeah,
come
I
on.
hope nothing ever grabs a hold of me while I'm underwater. That would be a little frightening.
Fucking terrified. I'd be out of there quick. Be done with that nonsense. See ya.
Yeah, I bet.
So when you're down in there, well, you're in North Carolina. Have you had to go in there like really cold water?
Yeah, so just a few weeks ago, I was getting in the water and it was snowing. The water was like 35, 40 degrees. It was freezing. But we have hot water, so it makes it pretty easy.
What do you
So
mean?
So we have the wetsuit on, obviously, and so we have the umbilical that runs to with our air and our comms and our strength member and everything like that. And we
Yep.
also add a hot water or a hose into it, and we just put that into our suit. But the hose, so we have a hot water furnace that's burning, the water into a volume tank, and then it pumps it down to us, and it gets to like 100 degrees by the time it's to us. So you're pretty much working in like a hot tub.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but your hands obviously still get cold and your feet, but inside the wetsuit your body is warm.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That
Yeah, it's
makes it a
it's
lot
nice
easier now.
it's nice when a company will do that for you.
Yeah.
I've been in the winter with no hot water before and it was in Florida, believe it or not, but it was freezing. 50-degree water is freezing when you're in it for like 5 or 6 hours. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's freezing. So that would have
Yeah.
been very appreciated.
Yeah. Florida, we do get our cold days. I mean, this year got
Oh yeah.
pretty fucking cold here.
Yeah, I
This
was
year
in
was crazy.
Jacksonville last year.
Up north this year, It snowed 10 inches in Florida.
Yeah, I saw that just a few weeks ago in like Jacksonville, right?
What? Yeah, like,
That's
I mean, we
crazy.
didn't get it down here, but it still dropped down. I think the coldest day we had was probably about almost 40 degrees this year, which down here in Florida, if you're not used to the cold weather, you'll see
Oh
people
no,
walking around with
in
parkas and
Florida,
everything.
yeah, Florida's a different type of cold too. It's that wet cold, and I
Yeah,
swear, like it's been 30 degrees here, and then it's been 30 degrees in Jacksonville before, and it feels way colder in Jacksonville when it's 30 degrees, just because it's so humid in the air
yeah.
still, and it's just a wet cold.
That's why when people come here in the summer, they're like, "Oh my god!" You're like, the humidity is what gets you. The
Oh
heat
my
doesn't get you
goodness.
because you can go like I've been to Arizona a couple times. I just went a couple months ago to do public speaking. Arizona, gets 120, fucking 25, whatever it is. You can go there, walk around that whole place and not sweat.
Oh yeah, because it's that dry heat.
It's just that
Yeah,
dry heat, and you're
no
like, "This is
humidity.
not." I mean, it's hot, but it's like, man, this is nothing like home. We
Yeah,
come
I've
back here and you're like, you walk out, it's like 80 degrees and you're just pouring sweat. You're like, "Oh my god."
I was in Clearwater a few years ago, and I was sitting on the beach with my dad, and we're sitting there just sweating. I'm like, oh, let's go get in the water. It's hot. We get in the water, and it's just as
Hotter.
hot as there. It's just as bad. It was not even refreshing.
I moved down here in 2004 from New Hampshire. And the first time now growing up in New Hampshire, playing in the river, the water's freezing.
Oh, I bet.
Even in the summertime, the water's cold, but you're used to it. So then I came down here, and the first time I ever went to the beach, I ran straight in the water. And same thing. I was like, it's hot out. Go to run in the water, dive in the water. I'm like, why am I sitting in a hot tub? Like, why is the water so hot?
Yeah.
Like, it's like that all year. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, those springs are too. I think all the natural springs are like 72 degrees, like exactly every one of them. It's pretty cool.
See, I
Like
haven't
that.
got to do that yet. Is go to the
It,
springs up
it,
north.
it's really beautiful. I would definitely recommend checking it out. The Wikiwachi River, you can just pull up if you have a little boat or a little kayak. You can do all that. It's gorgeous, man.
Yeah,
It's
I'd like to go
gorgeous.
do that. The springs. Do you what? Oh man, I can't remember his name, so I don't know what his channel was. But he's a diver, and he goes and does like the treasure hunting pretty much with
The Almighty,
is
that
that who
guy,
it is?
right? I think so.
Younger
I'm
kid,
pretty
probably
younger
your age,
kid,
if
or
that.
is he, I'm pretty sure. I've watched his videos before. Yeah.
But he did one where he was doing in the springs. Dude, he found like so many iPhones, so many expensive designer shades,
I've
diamond
seen that.
rings. Just with his little metal detector wand, he was beep 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 beep, and
I
he'd
used
dig
to
it
watch
out.
that kid all the time on YouTube when I was younger.
Yes, because I was like, damn, dude, he's finding all kinds of good shit. He's just
Yeah,
diving
that's
around, just hanging out. I was like,
yeah.
damn,
I can just imagine how many people drop all their stuff there and just never go get it though.
yeah.
It's crazy. If I dropped my phone in, I'd probably go in after it.
I don't know. It depends on how deep the phone went. Is it really
Uh,
worth it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, shoot, my buddy, we were on a job. He dropped his phone in the water and he literally dropped all of his clothes, butt naked, and jumped in the water and got his phone. And it was dark water too. Like, and he
Not
didn't
good.
have he didn't have a hat on or anything. He jumped in just just regular, and held his breath and went down and got it. It was
Nope.
pretty impressive actually.
So that video we just my wife just seen it not long ago. Uh, a video of like this girl at a concert. She drops her phone in the porter potty and then looks at her friend. She's like, "I have to get my phone," and puts her whole hand, bro, up to the shoulder in there, and she gets it and goes, "Oh my god!" Now you can keep that phone.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Nope, that can stay right where it's at.
Yeah, that's a little far for me.
I'll go buy another one. It's all right.
Sure.
Just keep that. That's disgusting. Nope.
For sure.
Now you need to get a metal detector, dude. A little
Yeah, I
side
do.
gig.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go back to Florida. I miss it, man. I
It's
miss
nice
checking
out right
out.
now. I think it's let's see what's the weather at. It is 82 out right now.
It was 74 yesterday here in North Carolina. That was the first time it's gotten that warm this year.
This morning was really nice out. It was It was like in the 60s this morning. Yesterday was like at 80 right in the morning. I don't know. The weather's weird down here. It's up and down all the time.
Yeah, that's how it's been here recently. It's been up and down. It was like 30, 20 degrees just a few weeks ago, and now it's back to 70. So I'm not
Crazy.
complaining.
So, what do you do for your free time? What are your hobbies?
I love to go out on my little boat. I love to go hiking and explore the wilderness and whatnot. And I like to fish.
I
I
love
used
fishing.
to I used to race motocross when I was growing up, and I did that till a few years ago. Now I can't really afford to get hurt anymore. So
Yeah, don't. Yeah. Nope.
yeah,
Nope. Keep doing your job. Make your
yeah.
money. Stack
Oh
it
yeah.
up.
What about you, man? You have any hobbies you like to do?
I love to fish.
You do? You have a little
I do.
boat or anything?
Not yet, but I do like to
Yeah.
fish.
You have a kayak?
No, I'm not getting in a kayak.
No. Yeah.
No,
I
there's like
used to have a
10,
kayak when I was
10 12
younger.
foot alligators running around, bro. I ain't getting in a kayak.
That's
Mm-mm.
funny. I used to have one when I was younger, but I probably wouldn't go back in it now that I have the boat.
No, I like doing a lot of fishing. I do a lot of intercoastal. I do freshwater, but our freshwater, I don't eat nothing out of the freshwater.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Mercury levels down here are too high. You get sick.
Is that what you do most of, freshwater fishing?
I do, yeah. I would say I do more freshwater than saltwater.
Yeah. I've never
I do
really
like,
had too much luck with saltwater fishing.
bro, come on down here. I'll take you out.
Dude, about probably a year ago, I was just sitting on my boat and I was like, just for the hell of it, I put a big hook on and a big piece of meat and I threw it out there, just let it sit. Not even 5 minutes, my reel rod almost goes right into the water. I got it, and it's a giant tarpon, and this thing jumps in the air like 3 times and comes off. Man, that thing, it was very disappointing. That would have been the biggest fish I'd ever caught,
Some gill plates, bro.
dude.
The gill
That's a,
plates are like razor blades.
is that why they just cut the
Yeah,
line every time?
yeah. You have to have like wicked good braid or like a really high pound test on
Yeah,
because those gill plates they'll cut it right off.
you ever
They'll
caught one?
smash around. Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's
Not
awesome.
huge or anything, but I've caught I don't know at least 2 3 foot one.
That's pretty cool.
But
They
it's
fight
still
like
even
hell.
smaller. They fight. Yeah, they fight really good. But snook, have you caught a snook?
I haven't, no.
Snook are a fun fight, dude. They will, and they're smart. They'll run you into pylons. They'll wrap themselves around the pylons and break off.
Oh snap! You ever caught a
Yeah,
northern snakehead?
is there a difference?
I think they're
Northern?
just called the northern snakehead, but they're literally everywhere. They're invasive.
Yeah, I've caught a bunch of them.
Yeah,
The
they're fun to
snakeheads,
catch.
yeah.
Yeah, you.
They fight like a
Oh
fuck,
yeah,
man. They fight really good. Down, so if you even go further south than where I'm at, they get to like 3 to 4 foot long.
that's insane.
They get huge, dude.
Yeah, I've caught a few up north. I haven't caught any when I was in Florida, but when I lived in Maryland as a kid, I caught a few, and they were pretty decent size. I don't know about 3 or 4 foot, but they were pretty fun to catch.
That and the peacock bass down here.
I've always wanted to catch one of those. They're so beautiful.
Dude, they fight hardcore.
Way better than a regular bass.
100%, yeah.
That's
Regular
awesome.
bass, they'll fight, but they won't fight as long as a peacock. And
That's
peacock bass,
awesome.
they just hit it and they go. They're fun, and yes, they're gorgeous. You pull them out of the water, you're like, damn, that's a nice looking fish.
Oh yeah, that's that's awesome. So, where do you like fish at? Just in canals and whatnot on the.
Hit a lot of canals. I have some friends that have boats, so we'll do the intercoastal and stuff like that. Uh, I don't really. There's a couple lakes I've been to. I haven't done Okeechobee Lake
I've always wanted
or
to go there.
Whitehorse.
I've
Yeah,
heard that's
everyone
good
goes up
fishing.
there. Yeah, but I haven't gone out there. I usually go a little north on the intercoastal, but it's a good
Okay.
time. Yeah, you come down here, we'll go out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
We'll go
miss
get
it, man. I
some
can't wait.
saltwater.
Oh yeah. You know, the St. Johns River, any up
St.
in
John's.
Jacksonville?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's where I did when I was in Florida. That's pretty much where I did all my boating and fishing and whatnot in the St. Johns. And then I did go a few times on the Gulf side. That was really cool to go in the ocean in it.
Hell yeah. So you do fishing and hiking. Now, does your girlfriend fish?
She somewhat, not too much.
Does she like participate in your hobbies?
Yeah, she comes on the boat with me.
Yeah,
She has a good time. Yeah, she comes on the boat with me.
good deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I love it, man.
The keeper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So before we wrap it up, is there anything that you want to tell anybody that's looking at getting into diving? Any advice for them?
Do your research. That's for sure. Because a lot of people don't do their research before they get into it, and they think it's something that it's not, and they get into it for the money. And that's not what you just. If you're in it for the money, you're not gonna last very long.
That's right. That's what I say. I say the same thing, man. If you're in it for the money,
Yeah, you
them
really
jobs,
gotta.
you going to run it for the money, you ain't gonna cut it in there, and you're either gonna get fired or you're gonna end up quitting.
Yeah, you gotta love diving to do it. I think a commercial
No cap.
diver at least. Yeah, but yeah, man. Other than that, thank you. I appreciate you having me on here, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
dude. Great. Yeah. We'll definitely keep in touch, man. It was good to have
Sweet.
you on here.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too.